Welcome to the Defining Moments Black Men series of the 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐿 Show. Thank you, Ronnie Lackey, for joining me today. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Can you tell us a little about yourself, your occupation, your background, and how you would describe yourself?
Um, okay, my name is Ronnie Lackey. I currently work in the pharmacy in a hospital, and I consider myself a family man, laid back, fun, and just basically those type of things. I love the Lord, all the regular stuff. I just normal person.
Okay. If you had to pick a phrase that would be a theme for your life, what would that be?
Resilient.
Could you explain that?
Um, I say resilient because going through trauma early in your life, um, watching your mother um, as a single parent, you know, fight and struggle, but at the same time, never, what's the best word you could say? Never lack in what she's giving you as far as love and the work ethic and all that. She just taught me how to be resilient. I got my first job when I was like 8. So
Wow. That's impressive. Oh my goodness. So you've literally been working all your life. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. A defining moment is a point in life when a pivotal decision must be made or when an experience fundamentally changes a person. What defining moment would you be willing to share with us today?
my defining moment would have to be me becoming a father.
Really? Okay. So can you tell us how that moment shaped your life?
Uh, well, one, being in the room, actually watching it. Well, technically, I didn't actually watch. I stood to the side because I couldn't. Yeah, I wasn't going to see all that. But just seeing my daughter being born and holding her for the first time, it gave me, it changed me, and gave me another sense of being, another sense of I wasn't just here on earth to just for me anymore. It wasn't just about me and my wife. It was another, something that me and my wife created together, and she was mine. I, that's kind of sounded selfish, but she was, I just got to see her, that first cry, her first look in my eyes. It just took me to another place, and it made me want to be a better person even more. And it also gave me a responsibility to show people, because I don't like when people say, if you grew up without a father, it's hard for you to be a father. I wanted to change that. I don't like when people say that. You know, yes, in some things you're a product of your environment, but I try to always think of the things to the simplest level. If you were taught your fundamentals in life, of what to do, what not to do, good, bad, that's the way to find out, how to do what you're trying to do. Because I believe although my father wasn't there and he didn't teach me all the things, he did teach me a lot. He taught me everything not to do. So that's as good as playbook as my father being there and saying, okay, this is what you do in this situation. This is what you do in that situation. He taught me what not to do. I can sit back. I can remember how I felt in this situation. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that to my child. And I just use stuff like that in life.
Wow, that is interesting. I want to go back to something you said earlier. So you said your mother was a single mother and she taught you to be resilient because she was in an abusive situation. So how did you father your daughter, um, knowing what can potentially happen to women growing up? so that she would not end up like your mom did in that type of situation?
Couple of ways. First way is I try to be an example. I try to show her what an example of a man is. I try to show her in that way as far as my relationship with my wife. You know, I try to show her an example of how we are as a family. And, I try to show her, I sit down, I talk to her. I talk to my child. I don't talk to her in a way of, oh, I'm dumbing it down for her. A lot of stuff. My daughter's now 16. I've been talking to my daughter for years. Look, this is what you should be looking for. This is a woman's responsibility, and because I feel like women, you have a lot of responsibility into how what type of man you get. A man is going to do what you allow him to do. Like I say, when the girls like, oh, they walk around and look sloppy, that's because you're allowing your man to walk around and look sloppy with his pants hanging down. If a man couldn't get a woman because his pants is hanging down, every woman reject him. Guess what he gonna do? He gonna pull his pants up.
All right. Okay, so when your daughter was born, what changed in you? Can you tell us about, like the first time you held her, a couple of things that happened, or right there in the room, and then in these 16 years, just a few things. If you had something to say to someone who was going to be a new father, what would those things be?
First, I softened. By me having a child, it kind of softened me. You know, um, it allowed me to let down my guard because of all the stuff that I've been through in my life growing up. You have a guard, you're sheltered, you try to, you don't let people get close to you. So outside of my wife, and my circle, I don't allow people in.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got my daughter, that kind of opened me up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. So when you say you softened, because I don't know what harder would be than you right now not smiling at me. Oh, there we go. I feel so much better. I can breathe now. So when you say you softened, what does that mean? Because I think men and women could interpret that differently. So can you tell us what you mean by that?
I mean, because when I saw my daughter, I cried. I'm not normally a crier, because people would cry and they're looking like, what are you crying for? Just man up, get it done. But when I got my daughter, it kind of opened my eyes to like, oh, okay. It's not, it softened me to where not necessarily saying you're a punk, but it's like, oh, I feel it. You feel more stuff, and it gets to your heart, and that emotion come out. Like for me, it was a lot. It was emotional, and now I'm emotional, So it's like certain things you be sitting there, you watching a movie and you're like, hold on, what's going on? Before my
And you feel it
daughter,
coming
I'm
down.
like, yeah, I jump up, I gotta go to the bathroom, get myself back together and come back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
and it also gave me the opportunity to find out that everything is not that serious. Relax a little.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, for those who are watching, I just want to reveal I've worked with Ronnie in the past, and I wanted him to share at least one defining moment because Ronnie became an author a few years ago, and I actually have his book here. It's called Growing Up in It, and that's little Ronnie. See, he used to have a big smile. and and the subtitle is How Domestic Violence Almost Killed My Mother and Destroyed Our Family. And perhaps that will give some insight as to why he is rather serious as well. And I worked with Ronnie as his book coach, helping him to tell his story. And so, Ronnie, I'd like you to share. I mean, that's it. That says it. How domestic violence almost killed my mother and destroyed our family. That's the
Mhm.
story. Okay. So I think now it gives context for people who are watching. So I would like to know, what would you say, three pieces of advice you would give to a young man in today's society based on your experiences, either as a father or as a son? Three pieces of advice you would give to a young man in today's world.
Um, first, um, the first piece of advice I would say is, it's simple, but treat treat people how you want to be treated. Treat your like you how you want your mother to be treated, because most men, they relate to their mother
Okay.
when it all boils down to it. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody say something to your mom, you quick on. Some, and then once you become a father, you're gonna gravitate that same energy to your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
or your son, or however it goes. Somebody say something to your child, but if we just take that a little bit further and just treat people in society like that, like, look, you know, I'm not gonna be so hard on everything you want to do. I'm not gonna be disrespectful to you. I'm not just gonna push certain instances. Give you the respect, and as long as you give it back to me, that will be one. Another thing is, enjoy your life. You know, with how you going about your day. Don't make your day all about work. Don't be that father that's just there as monetary. That child wants you in their life. That child wants you to laugh with you, joke with you, and also that child needs to know, you could be the disciplinarian too, but they need you in their life more than just money, because it
Mm-hmm.
gets to so much in life. I saw that growing up, even though I didn't have, like, the father was just the money.
Mm-hmm.
You never really, some people, you never father because he's taking care of the household. That is very important. But as a child, you need that. I mean, because I can tell you, even for me, like, my mom was a single parent, so she had to work a lot, and I would play sports, and I would play a lot of sports and stuff like that just to get into it. But then I kind of faded away from sports, because you see people there with their parents and people cheering them on. I ain't had it, so it was like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't even want to play this no more. I don't even want to do this no more. And then the one or two games that my mom did come, I went out there. All the rules was out. I'm about to show out. I'm about to do everything. Everything the coach had to say to me. No, buddy, my mama here. Just get the ball. I'm shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I guess the third thing would be, just be the best father you can be. You know, be that man that, because especially if you have a daughter, if you are a great father to your daughter, that is the man that she's going to be looking for when she grows up to move on to her life. Most girls that have a father that's in their life, they're going to marry their father.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, they're going to marry somebody that has his values
Mm-hmm.
and did the things for her that her father did.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going to be looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. And then the last thing I would ask, if you could speak to fathers, they could be your age or younger or older, and maybe, or maybe if you could speak to your father at any point and say, something, that absentee father, um, what would you say to them? Especially if someone, let me reframe it. Someone may be watching this and they're saying, yeah, I have that grown child out there and I really wasn't a part of their life. And they may be beating themselves up and hesitant to reach out, but they still have a chance where some people don't. So whether they're 16 or 65, what would you say to that absentee father?
Um, I'll say personally, in my situation with mine, stop making excuses.
Okay.
Stop passing the buck.
Mm-hmm.
Stop blaming other people. And because one, it's not, you can't get back those years. So man up, say, you know what, I messed up for whatever it is. But man up to instance where you're saying, look, I messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in a situation saying, well, your mother this, your mother that, this. Just I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. But this is what I can do now. Um, don't shy away from your responsibility as that father. Stay in it, and just even though you weren't there in the past, you can come and say, look, I didn't do that, but this is what I'm trying to do now. Because if you have, like in my situation, I have a child. No, you can't be my father, but you can be a grandfather.
There you go.
You can move forward in life and be a better person now.
Mm-hmm.
And because no one can know what it was that, because some people, they have hardships that they didn't understand in their life, that they haven't got through. So yes, you might have went through all that stuff, but at some point in time, you can't keep beating down what you didn't get as a child to so much that you're killing your possible relationship with your child now, just because of something you went through. At some point in time, you got to say enough is enough. I'm doing the same thing to my child that I feel like was done to me. When you going to break the cycle?
Very good. Ronnie, thank you so much. You certainly have broken a lot of cycles. And I want to tell you, thank you for coming on today, sharing your story, being willing to talk about domestic violence and your family and your life. You certainly have opened up. And I'm going to put a link to your book in this video so that people can find your book if they would like. And, I just really respect you. I think as we talked when we were working on your book, we talked about if you were abused, you can become an abuser or you can be against abuse. And I think it's really fantastic that you got married. You've been married so long, and that your daughter, the birth of your daughter was your defining moment. So I just want to thank you for who you are, for the man you are, for what you've overcome, the father, the husband. And it's just really an honor to know you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the work and efforts that you did for me with writing the book, and even our continued relationship after. Because some people might have felt like it was a job, but our relationship doesn't feel like it was just a job for you to get through with the book. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome. Well, keep on standing up, Ronnie, and keep on speaking up. And you've touched my heart today. And I'm sure you've made a difference for all of those who will watch this interview to come. So take great care, and thank you.
Thank you.